Om Sumitriya Poshadaya Santu Durmitriya Tasmai Santu Yo Asman Drishti Ham Chavayam Vishmaha Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, so any problems from last time?
Yeah. That what was the number 38? I didn't understand at all. It is not right to say something that the qualities of the pradhana, the effect is different from the cause, the pradhana cause.
Yeah, basically prasiddha means that which is well known, that is the karyas, which is this universe. Okay.
Yeah.
So pradhanasya prasiddhadhikyam, that pradhan is greater than this karya universe. That is the meaning which has been taken. Na niyamaha, that is not a niyama. That means that is not correct. Okay, which means that pradhan's properties are not necessarily greater than those of the karya. So pradhana, essentially the sattva, raja and tama gunas which are there, those are carried forward in the karya. So the karyas are possibly greater than the pradhan.
So you mean that pradhana has no special properties? They do. Pradhana has the special properties, but the prasiddhas, because of so many modifications, they don't have the same properties in them, but they do have a sattva, rajas and tamas, they do have, but other properties they don't have in them. That's what I understood.
No, that is what is implied by pradhanasya prasiddhadikyam, that there are some more properties of pradhana which are not coming into the karya. So the sutra is saying na niyama, that is not necessarily true, essentially saying it is not true. So there are no great properties of pradhana over and above those which we see in the karyas.
Okay. But then again, we've gone back to the definition that it is a guna. But that one, we said it is actually the form. So I am getting confused on why we use guna in other places. And here we have said it is the form of, it is rupa of the pradhana.
So, yeah, that is why I told you that these two sutras are a little dicey. We don't understand them properly. However, for this next sutra, that is Satvadinam Atad Dharmatvam Tad Rupatvat, what you can understand it as is that pradhana is sattva, pradhana is raja, pradhana is this tama. So it's not something different from this. Okay, so that it is those substances. So sattva, raja and tama are not its gunas. See, guna is usually different from the guni. Like rice which we make chitrana, the yellow color is a guna. Is the varna, pita varna. And rice is something else. Okay. So rice is the guni, the pita varna is the guna. Now he is saying that no, it is not like that. Sattva is the rice, raja is the rice, tama is the rice. So these are themselves like that. Okay, so you can divide prakriti into three parts, pradhana, and that is sattva, raja and tama.
So basically matter like our body and all, it will have all components. Is that what we are saying? Sattva, raja and tama?
That anyway we had seen earlier, right? That in different proportions all karyas acquire sattva, raja and tama. Here he is saying that it is not the dharma of pradhana. it is the Rupa of the Pradhana.
Okay.
So one corollary of that is again, we had this question earlier. Can these three forms change into one another? So this implies actually that they cannot change into each other. They are that and they stay that. That part of it does not get modified.
Uttira, for the Prakriti, all the trigunas are the adjectives, no? For them, the adjectives. Visheshta.
Not for the Prakriti. That is what the Sutra is saying. For the karyas which are above that, like Buddhi. Buddhi, you say this is Sattvic Buddhi, this is Tamasic Buddhi, this is Rajasic Buddhi. So there you are using it as a guna of the Buddhi. But for the Pradhan, for the primordial matter itself, he's saying it is not a guna, it is that. Okay.
And also, Uttaraji, in the order of the creation, once the Srishti has happened, the primordial matter has transformed in itself now into the various Prasiddha elements. It doesn't anymore exist, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No. Sorry, I said okay before hearing the last part of your sentence. So we don't know about that. Okay, that has not been clearly stated anywhere whether any pradhan is left over or not. My own reading is little bit which is there is that we discussed those three shariras, right? The karya, the gross, that was Sthula, and the Sukshma, and the Karana Sharira. So Karana Sharira was supposed to be made of Pradhana, which implies that there is one leftover layer of Pradhana which exists in the universe, which connects all of us and everything which is there in the universe. So there seems to be an underlying layer of Pradhana which is left over from the creation of the universe.
Okay. And the other thing I want to ask is about the Vibhuvatva or Sarvavyapyatva or something like that, right?
Right.
So we can there be multiple elements that are Sarvavyapi? Is that permissible in the theory of creation?
Yes. So for example, Paramatma is Sarvavyapi. Then Akash is also Sarvavyapi.
And so also Pradhana.
Yes. Pradhana, if you consider Pradhana plus the Karyas, plus its Karyas. Because I'm not very clear about how Pradhana exists in the universe, if it does.
And Sarvavyapyatva extends to Samaya also, I guess.
Samaya is supposed to be abstract actually. So Samaya is seen as a derived object. So based on the change if you remember in Yoga Darshanam we did that the movement of an atom from one position to the other, that is equal to a kshana. So that change defines kala. Kala by itself has no existence. That is what
because I was trying to distinguish. Sorry,
I just wanted to tell you that is what scientists are also saying these days, that there is no such thing as time really.
So if this
because we say two things, no? We say Sarvavyapi and then we also use the Nitya. Nitya and Sarvavyapakatva is slightly different, right? One is on time, one is on space.
Yes. And there are others which are Sarvavyapi both in space and in time, like God.
Okay.
So are we saying that if there is no movement, then there is no time at all?
Yes. That is what we are saying. you think of a situation in which in a world where there is no movement, then what is the meaning of time? Nothing. But again, there seems to be a splitting of time itself into two. So there is one time which seems to run continuously through, whether it is in creation or it is in pralay, it doesn't matter, it continues to run. And then there is this time which is Einstein's relative time, where space and time are hooked together, and actually time, you can say, is a different attribute, another attribute of space. So the same thing is being implied by Sankhya and our texts as well, that there is no such thing as time. It is a relative concept. Yet there is one more time which is running in the background, which is independent of matter, which is independent of movement. But who is keeping that clock? Only God knows about that time, and He is keeping that clock. That is how.
And it is cyclic.
Now, whether it curls back on itself or not, again, we don't know much about it. But when we say that the time for pralay is equal to the time of Srishti, then we are talking of that time and not this time.
Okay.
Uttira, I just want to know, you've been using Karana and Karya. What exactly mean? Karana is a cause, is it?
Yeah. And Karya is the effect.
Karya is effect, is it?
Yes. Go back to chapter 1. I think chapter 1 itself we have discussed in great detail, because we had to go through the sequence of Karyas.
Okay.
In the whole of the sequence of Srishti, the primordial matter was right at the top and was called Prakriti, and then everything which it generated was its effects, were its effects, that is the Karyas.
All Karyas, Karyas, okay. Now, another thing, we say that God is pervasive, okay, and He is Satchit Ananda, that's what we say. And whereas the primordial matter is only the Sat, it's not Chit. And whereas this, but how could the Sat can also pervade all over? Is it the primordial matter? It is also pervasive, like God?
Yes.
Then,
see this, when you say Samana, Samana Vibhutvam, that is where we run into some issues. So God is definitely the subtlest of all things. So He pervades even matter. He pervades even the soul. Matter does not pervade soul. Okay, because soul is beyond space. So matter pervades all of space. So when we are talking of pervasion in space and time, then sure, it is matter is all pervasive. When we are talking of pervading something which is beyond space and time, then matter does not reach there. Our soul is also above space and time, and God is pervading everything. Our soul, matter, is pervading all of it.
This even Sankhya philosophy accepts that aspect.
Yes.
Their only difference is that they don't want to introduce Paramatma as some kind of a Nimitta Karana and all that. They say Pradhana itself is powerful enough to do the creation. That's
no. That is not at all the derivation, something you can derive from it. Because when we were talking of karma phalas, the biggest implication over there was that there is this big entity called God who is determining the karma phala, because nobody else can generate the karma phala. So you go into the second chapter, if I'm not mistaken, where we started discussing on karma phala. That is where he said that there has to be this all-knowing entity which alone can give you karma phala. You cannot have a world which consists of.
So the question emerges, Uttaraji, because I'm particularly little bit put off by your usage of the term stupidity with respect to Vedanta. Okay, so I just want to argue the point for them. See, the thing is, if we agree that primordial matter, there is no difference at all between Vedantins and Sankhya-karas that primordial matter is the upadana karana. There is no contention, there is no difference at all there.
That is the biggest difference.
No. I have just undergone from a very proper Advaitin who is from the Gurukula Paddhati. He very clearly explains that the upadana karana is the prakriti and or pradhana, and the nimitta karana only is Ishvara. That's how the argument goes.
No, that is not Advaitvad, Anuj. I will.
Madam, this is from Sringeri. This is from a Sringeri Mutt.
He has modified it for his own purposes because see, there is this Vishisht Advaitavad which I think Ramanujam started. He started. So when they were not able to explain this universe with just God, they split it into Prakriti plus God. So now you remove the Visheshan Vishisht and still call it Advaitvad because it is Vishishta Advaitvad. So then for your Shishyas who don't know anything, it is Advaitvad only. But Advaitvad has 3 flavors in it, maybe more. As far as I know, there is this Advaitvad Shuddha, which Shankaracharya started. Then this Vishishta Advaitvad, in which God and matter is considered. And then there is another.
No, Madhva is Dvaita comes.
Dvaita, something
yeah,
like that.
Two different things. They say Jivatma is separate and Paramatma is separate.
Yes. So that again, another flavor of, and they still call it Advaitva. So this is how this there's too much confusion being created, and it is. I don't know what to say.
Okay. See. Okay. Anyway, see. You seem to argue that yes, clearly Sankhyas don't discount the God's participation, and the whole Atma is linked with God, and the karma pala and all is a trait separate from pradhana, is very clearly what you're saying. Yes. But then also it is argued that the loka exists for the sake of, because of karmas and janmas that happen due to karmas, right? So for the bhoga of the karmis, if we can use that term. Okay, so the what is then is the coordination between God and pradhana in creation. There is coordination, and then in which case do we accept that God is the nimitta karana? Yes,
God is the nimitta karana of creation. Creation does not have the intelligence to create itself. So this primordial matter, pradhana, is lying inactive at the beginning of creation. And then God is supposed to perform tapa. That tapa leads to creation. This tapa is not, with your hands up and one foot up. God's tapa is, he doesn't have to, have hands and feet in order to perform tapa. So his tapa is a different word. This word is being given to us because we don't, so that we comprehend something of it. But there is effort from his side in order to create. Obviously, his effort is something which we cannot comprehend. It is beyond our limited comprehension, particularly when we are operating through this buddhi. But even as if we are in our pristine form as a soul, it will be very difficult for us to comprehend.
Okay, Uttaraji, thanks.
Uttara, coming back to what I was saying. So in the soul is the Sat and Chit, no? And Ananda is not there. Once moksha gets done only in the proximity that feels Ananda. So as the Prakriti is all pervasive and Purusha is all pervasive, so don't you think so? Because Sat and Chit is already there with the Jivatma, it can also be pervasive?
Why should it be pervasive? How does it logically follow? I didn't get it.
No, because Jivatma is also a Sat and Chit, both are there. Consciousness is there and is also pervasive.
No, Sat doesn't mean pervasion.
Yeah, Sat is only means exists. It has a limited existence.
And consciousness is not the pervasive?
No.
So it's a limited consciousness you can call?
Yeah.
And
Sure.
okay, it's a limited consciousness and limited existence.
No, infinite existence.
No, eternal.
Eternal.
Okay, but eternal, then if it is eternal, don't you think so it is all pervasive?
Separate eternality from pervasion. Pervasion means existing everywhere in space and time.
Yeah.
Eternality means that you never die. You don't have a beginning, you don't have an end, and you continue to exist through space and time. So it is like you as a soul are smaller than a point on this sheet of paper. You continue to exist through all of creation, pralaya, everything, and yet you are never infinite in terms of in space.
I think her explanation of a point was very clear. See, if you take a 3D graph, God and Pradhana there and Akasha there everywhere, all the dots they're present. We are present only as one dot somewhere.
Yeah, which if you plot it over time, yes, sure, we will continue to form a line in that graph where we will continue to exist through all of time. So if you want to say eternal in terms of time, we are eternal. But if you want to say pervasion in terms of space, then we are not pervasive.
Not pervasive.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why though it is eternal, but it has no capacity to create anything.
Exactly.
Got it.
You got it.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. So I have less light here. I need to, because it's raining, just give me a minute. Okay, so you had to do some homework. I hope you have done. And we'll do a recap quickly.
Yeah.
So, Prakrite Radyo Padanata Anyesham Karyatva Shuteh. Who's taking this up?
So, I will take it up.
Sure.
So, Shrutehe refers to the evidencing by Vedic quotes itself.
Correct.
Okay. And the Prakriti is the primordial, is the Upadana Karana. Okay. And this can be said because all others, what we see today, Anyesha, stars, sun, moon, etc., and even our Sharira, okay, is all Karyatva, is all due to the contribution of the primordial matter in our creation. Not we didn't exist before primordial matter. That's why that Karyatva is very clear in all the objects, and that's what Shruti quotes. So Prakriti indeed is the pradhana form of it. Indeed is the Upadana Karana.
Adya Upadana Karana. Okay, the first Upadana Karana.
Right.
Oh, okay, that.
Yeah, Adya Upadana.
Why the Adya is used in what special way? What is Anadya Upadana?
All the other karyas. So when you say that, yeah, all the 5 elements make up this, and this.
Oh, okay. The chain afterwards is Anadya.
All Anadya. Correct. Okay, so which is the this thing sutra where it existed earlier? This concept.
That homework I have not done, madam. Sorry.
I did go through a little bit. I mean, I exactly cannot quote the sutra, but where we were saying it is continual, where we were saying the primordial matter is continual, and then there are no 2 primordial matters that existed, only one, because Otherwise, there should have been a gap, and there should have been different.
So those are different concepts, but can you give the sutra for this particular concept?
Yeah, exact sutra I cannot quote, but this is where we talked about.
So who has done the homework?
Number 39.
Of which chapter?
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1 only we dealt with this.
Yes.
I can't read it so well.
Kala, wonderful. Thank you very much for saving the day.
Great, Kala.
आद्य हेतुता तद्वारा पारंपर्ये अपि अणुवत्. Okay, that is the 39 sutra. Also, I would like to say that the 42nd is also included here. Tat utpatti shrutescha. This talks about karya utpatti. So this karyatva shrute here, anyesham karyatva shrute is covered in this one, tad utpatti shrutescha, which is the 42nd. Okay, nityatvepi natmano yogyatva bhavat.
I can take it up.
Please.
Though the soul is also eternal, it cannot be the primary material or something like that for the whole creation. Because though it is eternal, it is animate. Because of that animate quality, it cannot create the inanimate srishti. I mean, whatever is existing inanimate in the srishti. So that is why it cannot be the primary material or whatever for the creation.
Right. It is not the material effect. Correct. So, material cause.
Yeah.
Okay, clear to everybody, right? Okay. Shruti virodhan kutarka pasadasyaatmalabha.
You want me to do?
Sure.
Okay. Here, Shruti also tells, or the Veda also tells that the soul is not the primordial matter and it cannot create anything. But it says that how come Brahma then divide himself if the matter is also within the Brahman, then why should we try so much of Purusha to reach him, reach the moksha and all? Right. So, but it is against the Shruti to say Purusha as a material cause. They don't look at that. And the material cause for the universe and not and Prakriti. So Prakriti is the only one which does all the creation. Brahman doesn't come into that. Is that true?
No, Brahman
himself is matter. Then where is the question for us to look for the moksha?
Yeah. You want to add something, Srividya? No. Okay.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I think it goes step by step. We can say that to believe that the soul is a primary cause of creation is not right. Number one, because it is against what is said in the Vedas. And if this were true, then we are the Brahman and we will be pampering ourselves as the Brahman and not try to attain anything beyond this, find the soul.
Yeah. Correct. Absolutely. Okay. So there will be nobody will try for Atma Labha. We will not try for Mukti. Okay. So we are running a little bit out of time. I'll close this session here. Okay. And we will start the new meeting.
Oh, okay.